Welcome,
man.
Darth. Before we get started, though, I have a question. Jesse, why the fuck are you whispering?
I'm not whispering.
You are absolutely whispering.
You are not your loud
This is the lowest register I have heard you speak in the how many years we've known each other.
John, he is not Jesse today. He's Arthur Fonzarelli. Look at that jacket.
Okay.
Look at that jacket.
Hey.
He is totally just honing.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think I'm just this is not whispering. If you come to a Sunday dinner, this is not whispering.
Okay.
I will say, Jesse, you are very quiet. You are not
intro
really.
Show.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get a little louder. Is this better?
It's still good.
More matches you as a person. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
It's different. It's new.
It's new, right? It's new. It's different.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have my legs up right now, so maybe that's what's doing it. I'm just more laid back.
Too relaxed. That's what's going on. You're too relaxed. That's
too relaxed.
Too relaxed.
Jesse, I need you to be a little bit more revved up. We've got a new Ray Skywalker movie.
Okay.
I'm so excited to hear John, Mark out about this.
Let's talk about this then. Let's do this.
This is what I wanted to talk about the most out of all the other announcements. Because everybody, I always have a lot to say, but I really want to get into what this could be and what it could do.
All right.
Versus what it's most likely going to do.
Then let's get right into it. Let's get crazy. Let's talk about it.
Let's get right into it.
Okay, so that now, excuse the numbering because this was actually going to be the third thing I was going to talk about. One of the third things we're going to talk about.
If we want to go by number order,
let's go top load this thing. Let's talk about it. So one of the things was there was 3 movies that were going to be announced that they were going to do for the Star Wars. One by Dave Fillion, one by James Mangold, which we'll talk about those 2 in a little bit. But right now, the third one we were going to talk about is the one starring Daisy Ridley, coming back as Rey Skywalker. I'm scared about this, dude. I'm like, dude, that moment was so cringy. I watched that in theaters. I love the video on YouTube. Has anybody ever seen this one where the guy's like, "What's your name?" And then she looks off to the corner, and everybody in the theater is like, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." And then they see Luke and and Leia show up, like, "You don't do it, don't do it." Skywalker. They're like, I fucking hate Star Wars.
I feel like there were people in our theater, Darth, that did that. There were like people that gasped, like people that booed, people that said like "fuck you." Some people cheered. I mean, there was like all types of auditory.
It's like that was like the nerd version of a white guy having dreadlocks. It was just not a good look. We were just like, don't do it, don't do it.
There are a lot of people out there that think it was horrible and it ruined Star Wars. I like to call those people marks. I spell M-A-R-K. John, I just want to make sure I don't get sued for libel. Yep. So it's M-A-R-K.
M-A-R-K.
I just want to make sure. And marks are what's ruining Star Wars because they don't want they want everything spoon-fed to them and everything to be the way they want it to be and not enjoy what's coming out.
Sure.
And the whole Rey Skywalker thing, it alienated a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But I don't want those people in my fandom. If they hate it, then watch the first 6 movies and be done with it.
You know, here's the thing. I think my issue with the whole Rey Skywalker thing is that it started as an interesting character and then it deflated, and that's what bothered me. I mean, because I thought she was a very interesting character in the first movie, The Force Awakens, and I just felt like they slowly just made her like they set her up just to kiss Adam Driver in the third movie. It just felt like that after a while, and I was like, ugh. I was like, okay.
It just didn't seem like they knew what to do with her, and especially in the second movie because there was a huge emphasis on Luke. So how do you have a lead that's going to overshadow Luke, who was the previous lead, who's now a supporting character? That's actually very challenging to write correctly. Yeah. So,
but also with that, I just felt like there was also this rumor that Rey was supposed to be the daughter of Obi-Wan, which
there were rumors all over the place. She could.
I thought that was a great idea. I thought that would have gave her. I mean, her existence would not only make her very important to the mythos of Star Wars, but also, it would make Obi-Wan's character, I think, more well-rounded. Because they do allude, in some certain canons that he fell in love with somebody else and he had a kid, and this would have been the kid. You know what I mean? And I mean, for me, my policy. I like Obi-Wan and I like Qui-Gon Jinn, and that's about it for the Jedis. I really don't give a shit about the other ones. I really don't.
Dude, where's the backstory movie about Qui-Gon? I mean, I know Liam Neeson was like, I'm done, but I mean, fuck, that's a movie everybody could get around. I don't care who you are. You get down on a Qui-Gon movie.
I could care.
I would
less.
get down.
I could care less about a Qui-Gon movie.
I want Qui-Gon.
I'd rather see a Plo Koon movie.
Oh, I'm there. I'm there. You don't even have to sell me on it, Darth. I'm there immediately. I'll show up.
But Qui-Gon was there. He did his thing and moved on.
Yeah,
he was a secondary third character. It's like saying, hey, we should devote a whole series to Boba Fett because Boba Fett's really cool, right? And
well,
then Boba Fett came out and you realized he's a one-dimensional character.
Well, I think
he looks really cool, but he has no depth to him.
Yeah. And
I agree with that because you had to bring in the Mandalorian to tie that show
and I think that was part of the problem is that we don't have to do side stories for every character. Sometimes good characters that people love can just stay where they are. Maybe you have them show up for an episode here. Like, how dope would it have been for Boba Fett to show up and go at it against Jin in an episode, but then maybe have them bury the hatchet, and then like maybe Boba Fett joins the Enclave, or he helps them or something, or like helps progress them, or maybe he stays as a cocksucker and they kill him, they boot him out, like, whatever. Like, that would have been dope. Now look, I do not shy away from any of the problems from Boba Fett. Overall, I enjoyed it. Are there glaring issues? Absolutely. Would I have done it differently? Absolutely. But
I'll give you one glaring issue. You ready to go?
Do it.
You tell me Danny Trejo doesn't do more than that? Fuck you.
Look, man, just
give him the machete.
I don't want to go on a Boba Fett tangent, but pulling it back around. Okay. So it's challenging to have two leads in a movie, and one lead is now a supporting character while one is still the lead. And to write that is difficult. So I do understand that. I also agree that I liked Rey a lot more in The Force Awakens than I did the other subsequent films. And my thing is, since we're on this right now, before we transition to the movie, because this does kind of lead into the movie, is that, and this is just me personally. I'm not making assertions. I'm not like doing things that I need to have data for. I'm just talking because this is what's in my mind. I wasn't so mad that Rey ended up being a Palpatine. I wasn't even so mad with that ending, right? What bothered me, because I guess I don't want to say I was mad. I'm still a Star Wars fan. I'm still going to show up for the Star Wars content. I might have something to say about it, but I'm not a person who just shuts off from it and says, you know what? I hated these movies. They ruined Star Wars. Nothing Disney. I'm closing myself off of it, and I'm going to be an online troll. That's not what I'm saying.
Don't be a mark.
Correct. But I'm also not going to shy away from sharing certain feelings about it. So I wasn't mad or upset that that's how they ended it. I was actually fine with that. I think that's cool. I personally think that the Palpatine connection is better than the Obi-Wan connection, because I agree. You have Obi-Wan connection, there is a lot more baggage that you have to explain. Look, there's already plenty of baggage for a Palpatine, but you can let some shit go for that. Oh, it was this kid who fucked it, and then they just, okay, fine. But Obi-Wan is different. Like that, you got to explain a lot of shit specifically for that to happen, and I'm okay they didn't do that. For me, because I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I'm sure other people feel the same way. It wasn't so much that that's how they ended it that was the problem. For me, it was the journey to get to that ending that was the problem. I feel like we wasted a lot of time. We wasted a lot of characters, and just a lot of dumb shit happened in order for us to get to this particular ending. And that's ultimately what bothered me. about the sequel trilogy is I just felt like it wasted a lot of everybody's time to get to this conclusion.
Well, one of the interesting things about the last movie was basically it was about them finding a dagger and then having to find a guy, to find another guy,
Yeah,
to
it's
find
called
another
Tomb
guy,
Raider.
to
I
find
played that
another
game.
guy, to find another guy,
Mhm.
to find that guy to read this thing. And it's like the creative writer in me is like, okay, cut 9 of those guys out.
And you had the dagger that was perfectly etched to the shape of the horizon and the Death Star, then
Oh my
had
God,
this
yeah.
lever that pointed to it.
Which, by the way, what craftsmanship? What craftsmanship?
I mean,
So
sure.
you didn't think they had Etsy in Star Wars, but they do. Like someone put a lot of work into that craftsmanship, and I appreciate
did.
that.
So, like, you know, so I think that a lot of people are most likely thinking, how do we redeem this? Right? Because Disney's not going to retcon anything. They're not going to remake anything. This is their bread and butter. They've made a fucking galaxy in Disney World for this branded of Star Wars. They have made thrill rides that are some of the most expensive and technologically marvels of the entire world. The thrill rides.
You know how they do it, John?
They're not going to abandon this stuff just because a bunch of people are upset about it. But I think it is fixable. And I think the way that
They're
you
fixing it now, John.
So, Darth, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
It's called bridging a conversation, my friend. We're getting now. So now that Darth said something, okay, so now we're here. So Disney has the ability to say, you know what? We realize this may not have been the best. We're not going to get rid of it. It's still there. But maybe if we start here 15 years later, Rey is building the new Jedi. Now I have some qualms about that being in disarray. We don't always have to have the new Jedi being in disarray every time to create conflict. We can create conflict elsewhere. You're allowed to have a successful Jedi Order somewhere. It's okay, guys. It doesn't always have to be some drama within the new order, the old order, or blah, blah, blah. It can be working business as usual. That's okay to do. I'd like to see that. But this is their opportunity to say, okay, we're not going to get rid of it. We're not going to ignore it. We're just going to start here and just kind of move forward so we can set up all these other things, because now we're to the point where we can move forward away from Skywalkers, away from legacy characters, so that people won't get pissed off that they ruin them. Get away from this shit, and now we can start doing some future stuff. And I've been saying for years they need to do that, and this is now their opportunity. What I'm worried about is they're just going to be like, hell yeah, shuck him up, let's throw in all this shit in this, and it's just going to be like episode 4 of the sequel trilogy.
And that's where the Mandalorian show has succeeded in simplicity. It didn't try to be too much. I mean, those first episodes were very bare bones, but they were good. The writing was there.
So
the character was there. The mythos was there. When he
Absolutely.
says that line, I could bring you in warm, or I could bring you in cold. I'm like, ooh, that not only is that a cool line, it tells you everything about that character. You know what I mean? And that's what they need to do with this. So this movie in particular, it's going to take place, I think it's like 15 years later, and Rey is going to be trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. So in other words, she's trying to build the church back up.
Rebuilding the church.
She's rebuilding the church.
Well, she actually read the books.
She did.
She's the Joseph Luke, Smith of Jedis.
Really didn't read anything.
Here's the thing, but unlike other religions, she read the books and were like, there's a lot of problematic things in here. There's probably a better way to do this, and, course correcting some shit instead of just reading, be like, yep, that's it. We're going with that for the end of time.
She's like that new youth pastor. It's like everybody's allowed in.
In the leather jacket and like the boots and the jeans.
She
has
like her hipster glasses and she has the guitar, the acoustic guitar.
The acoustic. Darth nailed it. There it is.
We don't like to marginalize parts of our Jedi clan. No. Some people are force sensitive, and other times people may not feel the force immediately, but that's okay. That's okay.
And then it pans over to Finn sweeping up something.
That's okay. Somebody might not feel the force right away.
It's okay.
Oh my God, You nailed it.
You do your thing. Everybody, look at this knife that killed an entire family.
Oh, my
They
God.
carved a horizon onto it. Beautiful work, isn't it?
Oh
Wow.
man, that's hilarious. All right,
Just,
you got me. That made me laugh, Jesse.
but like I just want her to be that new age hippie who's like teaching. That's what she needs to be. But I think this is interesting. And now I want to. Now here's the thing. I will admit I was kind of like, ugh, I'm not in the mood for Jedis. And you know how I've always felt about Jedis, and it's just because of my Catholic upbringing. Because the Catholicism and Jedi, I mean, those are pretty much the exact same thing. Except Yoda has never been creepy with anybody. Allegedly, we don't know.
Has he not been?
Has he?
Have we figured out where Grogu came from yet?
That's true. That's true.
And he has that weird like hut, like in the swamp, that
You
nobody
think he's a
else
love
knows
child?
about.
I think Grogu's a love child.
Possibly.
So I want to revisit this right here, like later in the show, because I have a whole thing that I'd like to see happen to Grogu. That's like the MCU. We can get into that later. I got a whole plan for Grogu I'd like to see. But so let's go back to the Rey movie. So 15 years into the future, rebuilding the Jedi Order, but there's already a problem, and it's there's a conflict there. And like, what do you guys think is ultimately going to happen here? Are we going to get that?
Can we
move
have
forward, or are we just going to clutter it up with bullshit again?
I want it to be High School Musical.
Oh God! Come on, man. This is not the Joker sequel.
Come on.
These are the joys you're looking for.
I would like to see it just be all new characters, and Rey is the only character that's still around. Everyone else has moved on, done their thing. It's just Rey. Maybe bring in Ahsoka.
What about Chewie? Can Chewie still be with Rey?
Is the actor still alive?
Doesn't matter. They get other people to play him now.
No, it has to be the same. It has to be the same guy.
Dude, it doesn't matter who dies now. You can recreate them with AI. It's irrelevant.
No.
Yeah.
Just Rey.
Plus, Peter Mayhew was barely in costume on these last movies because he could hardly walk. It was somebody else in there most of the time. So why can't Chewie be with her then?
Because I said so. It's my movie.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
My version of the movie.
Okay.
Just
I just feel like Rey's got to have somebody. She's got to have that second in command, or that right-hand man, or that voice of reason. And maybe Luke's Force Ghost is helping her. I don't know.
Possibly. Have Yoda there.
That'd be cool. That'd actually be really cool. The Council of Jedi Ghosts. That'd be kind of cool, right?
That would actually be
really cool, man.
They could do another book burning. That was really great in the last movie. They did a book burning. I mean, I didn't think
all the teachers. I want all the teachers to be the Knights of Ren because they got to be integral in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
you got to see them twice.
Yeah, I'm still salty about nothing explained about who the Knights of Ren are. Why? Nothing. Just, hey, here's a picture of him in this movie, and then here's a one scene in this movie, and they're done. Like,
well, I mean, again, that was Kathleen Kennedy not having this whole thing mapped out. It was basically like, remember that camping exercise where people would give each other the stick? You would tell part of a story, and then you give the stick off, and then you finish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was the biggest problem with this franchise.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, it's hard to fault one of the directors and the writers. They were given a play by the coach that was bullshit. Kathleen Kennedy should have been like, look, before we even do this, we should have a plan. We should know exactly where we want to end. We want to know exactly how we're going to get there. But they didn't. And that's why, like,
I'm not. If they would have had, here's the beginning, here's how I want it to end. You guys figure it out.
Even then,
at the end of the third movie, I need Rey to say, I'm Rey Skywalker.
Right. However you want to get there, go right
however
ahead.
You want to do that. If you want to bring Palpatine back and have him do whatever, I don't care. But get all three movies in a row.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel when that opening crawl came in? And what was the quote? Somehow Palpatine's alive.
Dude, Darth was sitting right next to me, man. I was like, this is bullshit.
Dude, that motherfucker went down a vent.
I had no problem with them explaining that it was a clone and all that fun stuff. What I had a problem with is the first instance of Palpatine being alive happened in a fucking video game. Yeah. That was no way affiliated with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you didn't play Fortnite? Battlefront 2, you had no idea what was going on.
I thought it was in Fortnite or something.
No, it was Battlefront 2 because they ran through the whole origin of the First Order, and oh god, why is it slipped my mind? The name of the contingency plan that the Emperor put in place, where if the Empire was ever to cause a collapse, these certain individuals go off over here in hiding. They let it collapse, but then they come back and start it up again. There was a name for that. It's like Operation something, but I forget what the name of it was. But that's all explained in Battlefront 2.
I could have swore.
Or maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, I've played Battlefront 2, and they go into the whole thing.
Yeah, give me a second here. I'm looking this up.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, Darth. I think we lost Jesse anyway, so this is a good opportunity for us to look something up.
Well, this is a really nice time to say how much we don't like Jesse and how much of an ass he is and blah, blah, blah. And he is totally a mark. And
when he shows up and whispers. When he's normally the energizing guy. But nah, I'm going to get up and I'm going to whisper today. But while you look that up, Darth, I am happy that there is still talk about Rogue Squadron happening. I was very salty that they decided to shelve it just because Patty Jenkins couldn't do it. Rogue Squadron is solid. It's got a great story, good characters, and it has a massive fan base. Just because you couldn't get one director doesn't mean you have to scrap the fucking thing. If they do, whether it's a show or a movie, if they do it, people will show up for Rogue Squadron. So get somebody else involved in the project and make it. Everybody wants this. Make it. So I've been reading some stuff that's been coming out the past couple of weeks, and they keep saying it's not dead and it could go to somebody else. So, okay, so let's do that. Let's get it on somebody else so we can get this on the books. And like I said, whether it's a film or a series, I'd prefer a series just so we could do it more serial style. I think that'd work really well with Rogue Squadron. But if they say, hey, let's do a movie, I'm here for it too. Just do a one shot, self-contained, maybe a little spillover at the end or a little cameo. But other than that, contain it to your just one movie and just make a dope ass movie about X-Wing dogfights, man. And the pilots that participate in that. Top Gun in space, man.
I mean, they did that with Rogue One and it worked.
Yeah, just do it again with Rogue Squadron. Oh, he's back. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse. Is that Jesse guy? Such a good guy.
Wait, he changed. He took his jacket off, combed his hair. Are you a different person now?
No, I'm not. I'm just the same. I'm the same me.
He's not, but the audio changed too. See, he dipped out and became a whole new person.
Actually, you know what it was? It was the jacket that was muffling.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
See, right here it comes. Here's the jacket
put
again.
It back on again.
He's cold. You know, it's
wearing it like
man. This is like a Han Solo jacket, all right? It looks like I'm about to get out there and fuck some shit up, okay?
Also, I did find out it was Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Fortnite in a Star Wars collaborative event in it says 2019, but that doesn't sound right. But yeah, it was Fortnite that they first did that announcement that Palpatine has returned. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Why would you? I mean, I get Fortnite's a huge game, but at the same time, they know that know the generations that are meticulously judging Star Wars, and it's not Gen Zers playing Fortnite. So I agree. What a weird way to make that announcement.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, with the whole Palpatine thing, like it felt like a desperate call of we're out of ideas and we just need to put something in here. We just need to shoehorn something, put it in there.
Got
I
it,
mean,
Palpatine.
dude, look, I'm gonna tell you something. I could have taken Palpatine in a CPAP mask. Okay, that's what he was in. He was in his like giant little CPAP machine. That's all he was in. All right, I could have taken.
But
him.
he was all of the Sith, Jesse.
Yeah, it was all.
I don't give a shit.
All of the
I don't
Sith.
care. I
remember he had like those millions of cult members that were just like sitting up there, but like nobody knew where they came from or who they were, how they got there, what their job was.
Look at this jacket. This is a space badass that's ready to take on CPAP.
Yeah,
Palpatine.
you can be all of the Han Solos, and he was all of the Sith.
Right.
I got this. I got it, Darth.
Don't think it's going to work that way.
Darth, I'm going to get him. Okay. I would have taken him out. I'm gonna sound full of myself, but I think I could have beat the shit out of Palpatine. Okay.
He's also in that form, like 112 years old.
Yeah.
I could have taken out Palpatine at that point in time.
Yes.
I was just like, I was waiting for him to like leech the life force off of like Kylo Ren so that it could be like Frieza and he could like morph into a final form and he'd be like all fucking ripped Palpatine and shit. And then like jump down and actually fight against Rey. But the whole big battle was just her deflecting lightning. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. Well, that's another problem. That's another problem with the latest Star Wars, as well as a lot of like new action movies. Fight choreography is horrible.
It's like nothing happened. Like what?
Well, I'll give you a great example. Of fight choreography going down the tubes. And we'll change the topic because we've been talking about this single film because it's raged us. There's so much other great stuff that's coming on. I don't want people to think like it's all bad from here. There's good stuff coming out.
Just talking about what we
I can't wait for this movie. This movie's going to be awesome.
Anyway, I am excited for it.
Like, I want to see it, but there's other stuff. Anyways, if you watch the first Matrix movie and then you watch the new one, okay, the amount of cuts that are in each fight scene is tragic because that shows that they cut in between. They actually have really good fight choreography. In this, the original trilogy, not the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy had amazing saber battles. I mean, let's face it, the one between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, that's just history right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's just energy.
Darth Maul.
Oh, Darth Maul. That was incredible.
Even that was incredible. Like, that blew fucking people away in 1999. Dude, they went to the movie just to see that scene.
I mean, they brought Ray Park back to animate him.
Right.
For the end of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All of the last season of Clone Wars where where Maul is fighting, that's all Ray Park in CAPTCHA in the stop motor capture. That's Ray Park doing it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, he's still fucking badass.
He's Darth Maul, dude. Like Ray Park is Darth Maul.
So let's basically let's head over to our next topic because we've already spent half the show on this first one.
I knew we were. I knew that was going to take up half the show because there's so much that can happen in this. Not only up to what's happened in the 15 years, but again, like I said, where do we go forward from here? That's the more important thing.
Any movie that goes into the future, I think, has much more potential than the other two movies that we're going to be talking about here. One set way in the past.
Ooh, yeah.
And then the other one set kind of now that ties the Mando-verse together.
Yep. So let's go back 1,000 years and we'll work ourselves to the present.
All right.
Look. So out of the 3 new Star Wars movies, I spelled his name wrong. Holy crap. That's sacrilegious. That's sacrilegious.
Jesse, grammatical errors on the live show.
On the live show. All right, look.
Now, I was going to say the comment section's blowing up today
because it's live.
It was live. Anyways,
trying to do the Canadian rise there.
Live. Anyways, so right now this one is set in the past and it's focusing on the first Jedi ever.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it too. I want to see how the Jedi started out and how it was corrupted and ruined later on.
Absolutely. I'm here for it.
Because at the end of the day, watching an ancient organization kind of come about, and like seeing all the pureness in it, and then eventually it kind of meets its corruption. I mean, I'm fascinated by that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just from a historical aspect, I think this movie is going to be very interesting. Not sure what the plot's going to be exactly. Like, what are any thoughts? Like, do you think it'll be kind of like? I feel like this is going to be like a Star Wars religious epic.
It is, because that's all that's happening is you have two religions who are fighting each other, and at some periods of time, this religion's dominating. At some periods of time, this religion's dominating. And at some periods of time, neither is dominating. And that's all this is. That's all. It's these two religious fanatical groups fighting each other for control. And it just spills one way or the other, and that's what this is all about.
Can't wait for the space Buddhists to show up.
What was I forget what was the name of the planet that Luke exiled himself on, that was the first Jedi Order location?
I always forget
the name of that planet. But I hope we go back there. I hope we get to see more of the weird frog, fish, monkey, squirrel people. I don't know what race they were or what they were made from. But they were like, oh, they've always been the caretakers, So I'd like to see what their involvement was. I'd like to see how the Force was actually discovered for the first time. I would like to see how then, once that was discovered, how did we go about learning, controlling, perfecting, teaching? How did we create all the dogma and all the stupid shit around this religion? How did we work our way into the Republic to where they said, okay, you can protect us all from evil? What's been going on with the Sith? What's their story? I mean, if you've played Star Wars The Old Republic, you're very familiar with the Sith story. But nonetheless, it'd be cool to have it in an actual film. So I'm actually looking forward to this. There's a lot of questions that they can answer in this film.
Just imagine two Jedis. They're going to work together to create this religion, and then one of them is offered 13 pieces of Beskar, and he betrays them.
I was thinking more. Why don't we do this lazy ass bastard sitting on the couch, and his beer is just far enough away that he doesn't. He's like, man, I really wish I could just reach my hand out, and then it comes to him. He goes, hey, this is some good stuff. And he does it a couple times and realizes that he can move stuff with his mind. And he's like, wait a minute, I can make money off of this. And he creates his own religion.
I love it. I can make money
church
with a religion
out there. And he starts doing just all these parlor tricks. And then
I can see that
some kid is like, you know what? I like this guy, and creates your religion about it. And it all starts that way. And it's all just a big ploy.
You know what,
so
Darth?
L. Ron Hubbard.
I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, Darth, you're describing Scientology. Are you saying that the Jedi were created based off of Scientology? Because you know what? That makes total sense. There's going clear. There's the bridge to total freedom. There's the operating level 18. Like, it's all there.
And,
I do not want to get
the box office.
So it's not Scientology. It's Jediology. All right,
and that
I'm not going to get sued for this.
It took place on Mustafar.
And can we agree that Jedi Tom Cruise will star in all these movies?
Well, we know he's not going to die.
Only if he has that huge gold medal that somebody gave him at that one convention. Then I'm in.
Dude, if anybody could actually become a Jedi, I think it might be Tom Cruise. I mean, literally, like, I was watching the videos for him doing the new Mission Impossible movie, and they're like, all right, you're going to ride off the cliff 5 times and parachute down and come back up. And he's like, no problem. I honestly think.
Could you imagine him doing like an X-Wing fight?
Yeah.
He'd actually build an X-Wing and fly it himself. All right?
That's what I'm trying to say, Darth. He will do it.
It doesn't matter if it's aerodynamic or not. Tom Cruise can fly it, okay?
That crazy bastard will make an X-Wing. Believe me. Dude, the beginning of Maverick was actually just a prelude to his Star Wars movie. That's all it was.
Well, we could do the whole Captain America thing where he gets like frozen for a really long time, like Buck Rogers, and he like wakes up in the future and he's like, sweet, it's 5 X-Wing.
And they're like, are you a Jedi? No, I'm a Scientologist.
No, Jesse.
What?
Oh, Jediologists.
Jediologists.
Trying to not
Sorry,
get sued or
Jediologists.
have people
We
stalking
don't
them.
want to get sued.
We don't want to get sued. We don't want to get sued. I want to apologize for it is Jediology, and
You're taking it too far. Just let it go.
No, I'll apologize. I don't care. I'm an apologist. That's who I am.
But nonetheless, I'm excited. I think it's cool. Darth, what are your thoughts? You didn't seem
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they shoehorn an existing character into this.
True. Yes.
But no. But to be honest, I think it if they do it right, it could start off onto something very big and something very cool.
Agreed.
And continue to do other things.
Well,
I like the fact that we're coming up to 3 different movies that could spawn off to 3 different, very different storylines.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep. One in the past, one in the present, one in the future.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Speaking of the present, shall we go to the present, boys?
Well, it depends on your perspective. But yes, let's go to the present. So basically, the present being which in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, Dave Fillion, he is thinking about pretty much making an Avengers of Disney plus Star Wars, essentially, bringing everything together. So essentially a taste of basically what we got in Book of Boba Fett, but on a bigger level, an actual film itself. I'm totally down for this. I'm
down.
Because I think, I mean, to watch them make what they've made so far on a tight budget, I want to see them lush. I want to see that crazy money. Like, don't get too crazy. Like, just if you're gonna spend a lot of money, make it so that like the action sequences are amazing and they're practical. Because I mean, practicality and action sequences sell. Hey, aka the John Wick movie that just recently came out. Everybody loves the practice. I mean, those movies they're gold because the director who does that, he loves practical effects. He films it like a Hong Kong film, and that's why it's good because he doesn't try to do so many cuts. He likes to do long shots, and that's definitely something you see with the Star Wars movie. So if they do that with this, Disney will have what they would have wanted with the trilogy they made with this in particular. Yeah. And this time it'll show them that they betted on the right people rather than Kathleen Kennedy.
Whoa, damn. Shots fired.
I don't care. I think she is.
Yeah. So you don't care about insulting Kathleen Kennedy, who objectively speaking has a cavalcade on her resume of quality films, but you want to hide from Jediology.
You want to know who has a cavalcade of on their resume? O.J. Simpson. And he killed somebody. Now I don't care. I'll say whatever I want about Kathleen Kennedy.
He has 3 things on his resume.
Naked gun, football, killing.
Killer, and like not a killer, but admitted to being a killer, then went to jail for stealing memorabilia. Now I'm out and laying low.
I'm going to say naked gun, football, murder. That's it.
I mean, dude, I love OJ and the Naked Gun.
Dude,
nobody alive who doesn't love him in those 3 films. Yeah, I said 3. Naked Gun 33 to 3rd is funny.
I love that movie. No, I think honestly, they could have done a spin-off with him and I would have watched it. That's all. I would have watched Nuremberg. I would have watched him all the way. But anyways, so let's get back to this. So this movie would be very interesting. Now, the question is, what would be the threat that brings everybody together? Now, they're already kind of, in my opinion, I think they're kind of alluding what the threat is. Already. They've alluded in the Jedi episode of Mandalorian. And this is also going to go into our Ahsoka series conversation too. But I think Thrawn is coming into the picture. I think he's going to be our, so to speak, Thanos. I think he's going to be our Thanos for this whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, Darth, you're more familiar with Thrawn than myself. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think bringing Thrawn back and his objective is to get Grogu at any cost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the end goal. We're pretty much guaranteed to already know he's going to get Grogu. At the end, Snoke is created. Snoke is going to come from Grogu. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
That makes sense. I mean, you got to eventually we have to know where Snoke comes from. I mean, Snoke was like all this weird
and they've kind of led a couple breadcrumbs in that with this season of The Mandalorian, and also Bad Batch. I don't know if you guys watch Bad Batch or not.
I did not. I did not watch.
If you watch the Clone Wars, Bad Batch is so good. But they are in the Bad Batch and in Mandalorian. They are leading towards the creation of Snoke and creating the First Order, and they're showing all of the stuff happening that causes the sequel trilogy to happen. So we've watched Rebels. We know how big and powerful and how evil Thrawn can be. If you unleash Thrawn and him to start creating the First Order and him to lay siege on Mandalore or wherever the Mandalorians are that have Grogu, and have that huge epic battle, and you see everyone trying to protect this kid and fail. I think it's going to be amazing.
That's actually really interesting because they could totally pull that off in this season of Mandalorian. Spoilers. I mean, I'm throwing in.
There's 2 episodes left in this season of Mandalorian.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There's only 2 episodes left.
So do you think they're going to get to Mandalorian this season?
Well, I mean, technically, Din's already been there.
No. What I mean is taking it back, living society back on Mandalore.
No, I think at the end, if they do anything, it's going to be a final scene where they're all going back to Mandalore. They're going to be settling on Mandalore.
There's got to be something with the Myth of Beast because they wouldn't have specifically been doing this Bo-Katan talking about it, seeing it, if they weren't going to do anything with it.
We'll see that next season.
Really? You don't think they're going to do it this season?
No. I don't think we're going to.
They take their time.
I don't think we're going to get back to Mandalore. We're not going to see a Mandalorian standing on Mandalore until next season.
I'm good with that, though.
They will end on another huge cliffhanger, something to that extent. Maybe Thrawn will show up at the very end.
That'd be cool.
Someone most likely is going to die.
Yeah.
I think it will be either the woman,
the Forge.
Yeah, her. I think it's going to be her or the heavy machine or the
exactly who I was thinking. One of those two. Yeah.
One of those two are probably going to die. And then they'll show Thrawn like showing up to Mandalore or something to that extent, and that'll end the season. We'll have to start watching Ahsoka, and Ahsoka will tie into it and either bring back Ezra and that whole thing, or it's going to explain how Thrawn comes back.
Yeah,
that's all that Ahsoka is going to be. And then the big giant movie will probably be Thrawn just wreaking havoc and killing everybody that he can to get the child.
That will be really cool. I am here for that. I would love to see that. Like maybe even the season finale is that Thrawn finally gets Grogu, and takes him away.
Maybe.
I also would really, really like to see some more shit with Luke being an asshole, because
I'm good with never seeing Luke again.
Me too.
I get that. I don't
like him.
Okay, let me preference. I'd be okay with that too, Darth. I'd be okay with never seeing Luke again. Totally fine with that. But I'd also be okay with them bringing him back a little bit for this to show more of Luke's chodness. I would love to see that.
Okay,
really enjoyed it for Boba Fett.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I would like to see that, but to your point, I would not be broken up at all if we're done with Luke permanently, other than sitting at the Force Ghost council table. I want that.
Oh yeah,
I
that'd
want
be cool.
that. I want that.
But
Would be awesome.
That's old man Luke, and that's the Luke I want to see. I don't want to see failure or
38-year-old Luke trying to do better.
Yeah, douchebag Luke is what I'm calling
Douche Luke.
Also, I don't think we'll see the mythosaur until the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
I want them to shell out so much money on the special effects.
Yeah, but it's like, why would they show it if they weren't going to do anything else with it this season?
Because that gives Bo-Katan credibility of being the ruler of Mandalore.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The mythosaur is mythic, isn't supposed to exist.
Right.
She
right.
saw one.
Right. But she saw one in the water.
It reminds me of an old comic book called Bone. I don't know if you guys ever read Bone.
Doesn't sound familiar.
It's a great book. If you haven't read it, find it. It's a great read. It's very long, but it's a great comic book. And the main character sees this red dragon, and dragons are mythical, and no one believes that he saw it, but the red dragon just keeps helping him out throughout the series. So I would love to see Bo-Katan see this, and that she's now driven. She now believes in all the things about Mandalore, and she starts living the way again, brings everyone back. She has a passion for it. And then people start to disbelieve her that she's seen this thing because all this bad shit with Thrawn's happening and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, bursting out of the pools of, or the living water of Mandalore, whatever it is, this giant creature comes out, and Bo-Katan wielding the Darksaber, riding the back of it, Boba Fett style, comes out and just saves the day.
I very much enjoyed this season of Mandalorian. We'll probably have a whole episode just recapping it once it's done. Obviously, Jesse and I found we prefer to talk about the series after it's done versus each episode. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but I like it. I understand the complaints. Don't discredit the complaints, but they're not my complaints. I've very much enjoyed this season a lot, and I actually have really enjoyed the Bo-Katan focus and the whole digging deeper into Mandalore. I've always loved Mandalorians ever since I was a little kid and saw Boba Fett the first time before I even had conscious memory. So finally now, I'm going to be 42, in the fall, finally getting Mandalorian shit and done well enough to where I think most people agree it's good. Never thought we would get any of this. Now we have it. And I just want to see more. I want to be overloaded more and more. But I get the whole Grogu thing. I understand people might be burnt out on it. I'm not. I think Grogu's a great character. And I think that Grogu could be instrumental in kind of connecting everything. Because, this species, 8,000-9,000 years they live, there's a lot of Star Wars shit that you can tie to this one character to carry through that journey. We could have an MCU style where we've got a fucking the life of Grogu, and we could get multiple movies showing Grogu aging through the Republic. Grogu starting to fucking talk so he can tell people what's going on. Like Grogu practicing or doing whatever it is he's doing. And then we have the conflict of, the Sith versus Jedi, Republic versus Empire. Whatever it is in that story,
Mandalorian
right?
versus Jedi.
But we have Grogu going through all of this because he's the one character that can outlast essentially everybody. So it's his journey through this, and then we tell all these other Star Wars stories through his journey of living through this time. I think that'd be dope as fuck. I'm here.
I would love I would love if Grogu was the Forrest Gump of the universe. I would love that so much. I'm so for that.
Yeah, period
Just,
piece starring Grogu.
instead of the opening crawl, it's Grogu sitting on a park bench eating chocolates. Like, you want to hear about the time?
Not eating chocolates, eating the eggs of that
Eating
frog.
the eggs.
Eating
Yep,
the
and he's
eggs.
waiting for a hover bus to come pick him up.
It's just him. Let's talk about the time I went to Mandalore for the first time.
Right.
That's the whole
Right.
thing.
Oh my God. So I think that there are ways that they can take what's working, right, and push it forward, and they can take things that maybe didn't work so well and not ignore them, not retcon them, and not completely forget about them. Just acknowledge they exist, because that's where all your characters are right now, is because these exist. But focus more on what you're building moving forward, instead of trying to drag this shit through the mud through everything. Because again, at the end of the day, we know the marks are gonna fucking bitch and they're never gonna stop. So why set them up for that? Just learn, right? Get better, and then produce what you've got. And I think that a lot of people would come around and be like, okay, we understand what's going on. We're back in it. Of course, you're going to have those people who are never going to win over, and that's fine. But don't drag your franchise through the mud because you want something specific to happen. But I'm also not saying don't give the fans everything, because that's super bad too. We only have a couple examples of when we gave fans what they wanted and it was good. And one of those was Sonic. But that was a once in a lifetime thing.
That was.
You know, you don't go doing that every time. It was, hey, guys, there's a problem here.
But
either
that was a
fix it
simple
or it's
problem.
not going to work. They fixed it. Everybody went to see the movie. It worked. They got a third.
That was a valid problem. That was a
very valid problem. But the internet came together, did what it did best, and they were like, you know what? You guys are right. We're going to do this. And then everybody went and saw their movie. And now the third one's in development. So there
we got one of the best running gags in Chippendale.
Very true. Dude, that was hilarious. I fucking loved that shit. Where Ugly Sonic was at the convention.
And he has this reality show where he fights crime. I thought that was so stupid.
It was perfect, though. I fucking love that. Oh, my God. All right. Anyways, so yes. So I think that, and look, if you're tired of Grogu, you're tired of Grogu. I get it. That's fine. But I think if we start kind of evolving Grogu in different time periods, then we're going to see different parts of him. And we could see how instrumental he could be in all of this storytelling, much like how a Luke or a Han or an Obi-Wan was, like in the older stories, right? Like, give us a...
Anyways, so yeah, no, I agree with you.
Sorry about that. Anyways,
no, you're okay.
Give us a character that we like to latch on to and build that up.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. And I'm here for that with Rey. Do it with Rey in this movie, and I'm in forever.
Yeah.
But if you just want to drum up the past and just put out something like that, then, I mean, I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to see it, but I'm going to be honest about it. You know what I mean?
I think at some point where it's just about, you know, your writers need to bring their A game. I mean, like, look at the Mandalorian guys. Those guys, I mean, they created how many characters from scratch? And we love those characters as if they've been around for 30 years.
Right.
And that's because they took so much care of these characters. And Rey has that exact same potential if they take care of her. You know, because because the actress has done nothing wrong. She did what she did. She was passionate about the project. But at the end of the day, you know, if the writers are not giving you what you need, then there's nothing you can do. So
you can only do with what you have to work with.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's just giving her good material. And you're right, seeing her build the Jedi Order would be a very interesting storyline to maybe see it be better than what it was. It actually might win me back. It might make me like Jedis again.
Jesse, you're willing to flip your religion here. She
I'm
creates
willing.
the in the middle religion. Hey, we're
And
not
that's what
extremists on that end.
Jediology is all about, Jesse.
And we're not extremists on this end. We're right in the middle, so join ours.
You can join and become a level 11 real quick. And
you have to pay 100 units a month.
Yeah, no, 100 credits per month.
100 credits, sorry.
Yeah, or Republic Dactarians, if you will. So
level 12, you get your lightsaber.
There you go.
There it is. But Darth, do they teach you how to use it, or do they just simply give
level
it to
13,
you?
John.
Yeah, there it is. See, that's the OT level 13 right there. Learn how to use that.
It's like one of the first things Luke does is look down the barrel of it.
What's this? Don't press the button.
He didn't pay, but Darth, he didn't pay, and that's what happens when you don't pay. You gotta pay, or else you're gonna stare down the wrong end of the barrel, and you're done. Story's over.
Hey, what was he gonna give Obi-Wan a reach around for giving him that lightsaber that was his to begin with? It wasn't even a gift. He was returning his property. He handed that down in probate from his father's death. Like, that was his property.
And you know what? That saber can tell stories. about almost 2 franchise-long movies of stories.
The Lightsaber Chronicles, told from the lightsaber perspective.
You can hear the screams that this lightsaber produced.
That was murdering children with it.
Younglings, get it right.
Younglings. The cries of pain.
Ours would never kill children. They kill younglings.
Right, younglings. Sorry.
Jedis don't kill people. Lightsabers kill people, okay? Just relax.
Unless you're being puppeteered by the Emperor. It's not.
That's different. That doesn't happen.
The second bill of intergalactic rights is the right to bear lightsabers.
Look, you're not going to take my lightsaber from me.
What I'm trying to say is, guys, is that you're allowed to use a lightsaber. Just be safe about it. And don't go to an opera with some creepy old politician that tells you a weird parable about how he killed his master. You know, that's all.
Was it really an opera, though? It was just like a bunch of floating blobs and some ominous
background. It was very operatic.
Then it was Cirque du Soleil, not an opera.
I love it. I buy into that being Cirque du Soleil. Straight up. It's just that's what it is in the Star Wars universe. It's just a bunch of cool blobs.
I like that.
The music was cool.
Just like Cirque du Soleil.
They just all seemed like very captivated looking at these like amorphic like blobs just floating.
Well, you got to do spores.
You got to do spores.
You got to do spores, man.
There it is.
Palpatine. That's why Palpatine was like, "Have I ever told you the tale of Darth?"
After I ate all these spores, let me tell you about it. Oh, by the way, here's some for you.
Yeah.
Palpatine fingers away from me.
Dude, I think that's one of the reasons why I like playing as Palpatine in Battlefront, because he has the most creepy pervert run I've ever seen in my life.
He does.
It's like somebody told him, like, "Hey, we're about to throw your laptop out the window." He's like running after it.
And if you level him up, that lightning is like unstoppable.
Oh, it's unstoppable.
Which I did, and people get so pissed when I just run around and shock the shit out of them.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but do you guys have a moment to talk about Darth Plagueis the Wise?
He's your Lord and Savior.
I
have a lot in this pamphlet you might be interested in.
That's how he got him to convert.
And there's like the picture of Plagueis on the front with his like huge long head.
Darn. We were watching a Mormon converted Jedi.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Oh my God. And that's all the time we got today. Thank you guys so much.
Planet Kolob is somewhere in the Star Wars galaxy. We're gonna find it.
It's Jediology, baby. Jediology.
Well, that's all the time. We got today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and blowing up the comments section. We really appreciate it. Tune in next week. We'll be talking more. I want to thank Darth for joining us. Everybody give it up for Darth, everybody.
Glad to be
And
here.
make sure you check out this episode. It'll be on Roku this upcoming Monday. So if you haven't watched the whole episode, do not worry. And we have past episodes on the Jesse Pimpinella TV Roku station, as well as our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube page. So catch up on past episodes. And until next time, I'm Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been sitting at the grown-ups table. Thank you, and have an awesome night, everyone. Take care.